And over the month of October, we'll be doing some financial planning seminars here in the city of Elizabeth. And today's show is going to talk exactly about that. Real world retirement planning, as well as what young people can do for planning. We'll be talking about that in the future. And joining me today, talk about real world retirement planning, and also later in the show, managing your money in hard times, is Mr. Joe Leone, the president of the New Jersey chapter of Financial Planning Association. Joe, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us here.
And Mr. Tom Duffy, a board member and the 2011 president and Financial Planning Association of New Jersey. Tom, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Now we're going to do 3 segments. I understand our first one is going to be real world retirement planning, and then we're going to, second set, we're going to talk about managing your money in hard times. Then you're going to come back a couple of weeks from now, we're going to talk about young people, correct?
That's correct.
That's good. And the title of your workshop is Real World Retirement Planning. And are most people prepared for the realities of retirement? And is there a new retirement reality? Joe, we'll start with you.
I think the new retirement reality is that people are going to be retired a lot longer than they thought. People are living much longer. You know, if you retire at 65, you could be alive for 25 or 35 years after that with the marvels of modern medicine. So I think the new reality is that your money's going to need to last a fairly long period of time once you decide to retire.
And Tom, are you seeing that in the people you talk to?
I am, Mr. Mayor. It's amazing. Some people are even actually retired longer than they were working. For those of you that retire earlier, you have people that retire at 55, 57, 60. They may actually be retired for a long, long time.
So if we retire, we should look forward to being retired longer than we were working.
In some cases, it's possible.
I hope so.
I hope so.
Can people rely on Social Security and pensions to carry them, or there needs to be more?
Well, I think there definitely needs to be more. I mean, most people don't really have a pension anymore. I mean, there's a segment of the population that still will have a defined benefit type pension where they'll get a check every month. But much of the segments of the population will not have that. Social Security, you know, what they're talking about today is maybe they can pay, part of the benefits that are promised, but maybe not all. So I would say that if you're really going to have a long retirement, as we expect people will, you really should look at saving some money for yourself.
So Social Security is expected to last till, 2041 or 2037, when they'll be taking in less money than they're giving out, or something along those lines, or actually when it collapses.
Yeah, with the somewhere around 2040 is when we're going to have some issues. And it's really because of 2 factors. One, as we mentioned, people are just living much longer. And 2, there are a lot more people who will be in retirement as the baby boomers enter retirement right now. So that's going to be the real pressure on Social Security going forward. So people really should plan to save a little money or a lot of money for themselves.
Tom, since you work with a lot of people in private industry, you see all the stuff that's going on with public pensions. Is that creating a dialogue in the people you talk to, like, hey, how come I don't have one of those pensions?
Well, when I talk to people, I tell them you have to create your own. Unless you're going to go get a public sector job, and let's face it, public sector jobs are going to be hard to come by in the future given what's going on, especially in New Jersey. But what I tell people is, look, you have to plan on taking care of yourself. Don't expect things to come from other places. So as Joe said, we'll have Social Security, we'll have a little bit of pension. You're going to have to have some savings on the side that you've done yourself. We have to take individual responsibility for our own retirement. It's not going to be handed to us in the future.
It's hard to get your hand around if you're 25 or 30 years old, right?
It's very hard.
People don't understand why they got to do that. Joe, what percentage of one's income should people invest for the future?
I think when people are starting out, so the younger people probably should invest about 10 or 15% because they haven't started spending as much. But then as you well know, I mean, as the pressures of life come on and you have houses and you're trying to put kids through school, it gets a little bit more difficult sort of the middle years. But then after that, you should try to save as much as possible. Like somebody like my age, 50 years old, my kids are almost done with school. You really should try to put as much money as you can away and get rid of as much debt as you can.
Yeah, but now that your kids are almost done with school, don't you want to have fun with that money?
Well, that's something that Tom and I were talking about earlier, and that's always the difficult part, is you're saying, when the kids are done with school, now I can spend more money on myself. And really what you have to look at is, that may be some short-term gratification there, but if you're going to live from 50 to 90 and you only want to work till 60 or 65, you're going to need to put some time and effort into figuring out what type of money you're going to need to do that.
Do people make modifications, Tom, as they get holder?
They certainly have some modifications they have to look at. Just to follow into what Joe was saying, you can't spend the money now and later. It's one or the other. You kind of have to strike a happy medium. So certainly adjustments over time as to how aggressive people are, how much they're skewed towards income or safety or those kinds of things. Absolutely adjustments. I recommend people look at their stuff annually.